bigger and bigger. I was there when Contact in the Desert started. It was the first year.
I was there too.
I've seen them grow to, they were 4,000 people this year. That's about the biggest one we have. So we could get that big. But, you know, when you compare it to the, the Comic-Con, okay? I was there back in the 70s, early 80s, working the Comic-Con. And they had comic books in the original day. The Comic-Con was because you had comic books, and then you would have some of the people that made it into film. So we had the original Superman from the 40s or 50s or something, you know. But now, I was talking to somebody last year at at Contact in the Desert. They said, we're from San Diego. I said, oh, do you go to the Comic-Con? And this couple said, well, you have to go online. They give you a certain period where you can buy tickets. And it's like a lottery. So you go and say, okay, I want to buy 2 tickets. And then you wait. You, like, hit enter, and a circle goes around. You wait. And then finally it comes back and says, either congratulations, you won, you get to buy your tickets at whatever they cost. I don't know what they cost. Or, sorry, you lost. Try again next year. I mean, they're so big. They're turning people away, and they had 350,000 people. And when they started, you know, we had maybe 200 or something in a Hilton hotel back in Pittsburgh and other locations. I went to one in West Virginia, one in Pittsburgh too. Very small. So we can build, but we've got to get ourselves focused into one mind. You know, keep fine-tuning. It's like when you build a group, the group can grow. We have to have the foundation, which can be the 4 of us, and then it grows and evolves, and it's the container for this to happen. So that's my 2 cents. Over to somebody else.
That sounds good. I kind of feel the same way, but giving an outlet for people that need something to be a part of. That's just the basic nature of human beings. They want to feel like they belong, and that's why I was looking at a way of bringing in even the Comic-Cons, which is more of the fantasy side, but it's for fun. Now, and even in some of the bigger meetings or organization conferences or what have you want to call them, I think we should be open to allow people from all different species, if you will, to be able to come and enjoy bonding together. And because let's face it, Earth is going to have to take its place amongst the whole intergalactic federation of sentient beings and planets. So I don't know if that fits in with any of the things TJ had as an idea of what we're going to officially identify ourselves with or not, but that's kind of what we're all getting together for right now, and that is a way to come up with something that works with all the other different organizations and yet accomplishes the goal and objectives that we're trying to do. So does that fit with you there, Janet? Not Janet, TJ?
Yeah, the History Channel took over a lot of our information and got it out for UFO history, and we had an interactive map for UFO sightings, okay? And we used the Cold War from 47 to 69, and I was born in 51, and that's when the Lubbock Lights came out, is August 51. So, you know, I'm coming along in human form with what is now being declassified. So I feel like all 4 of us are on a timeline. So I'd like to also include the paranormal in our stories, because all of us can write stories as authors and journalists and historians and researchers, but many people thought when the group called the Stars Academy of Arts and Science with Tom DeLonge came out, that they would get the cream of the crop videos. And Ahmad, if you'd like to talk just a minute about UFO capturing videos and pixels, I would appreciate it, because in our group we're going to have to do our own debunking of what is entertainment and crossed over into adding UFOs, because now we're getting into not just stories and paranormal clubs, but which I have ACO Club, but I was into a metaphysical institute. So I run a metaphysical group, and I run a UFO group. There go the Body, Mind, Spirit ACO Association, ACO Metaphysical Institute, ACE. So I've always thought of myself as an organizer, but an author and a consultant and an artist too. But I met J. Allen Hynek. He was an astronomer that classified and was very well known, and he launched investigation into Project Sign. So Project Blue Book came along in '47, and Kenneth Arnold was said to, he was an amateur aviator, like you can, a pilot, in June 24th, 1947. So that's where most of the people's information comes from, starting with Kenneth Arnold being taken seriously June 24th when the name Flying Saucer came out. So, the History Channel is picking up that and running Project Blue Book, which I have not seen yet, believe it or not. So there's many ways. They're much bigger and much more popular. But, we've been doing this for years and years. And Stanton Friedman liked my name, UFO Association, so I'd like to keep that in honor of all those that came along with me. And I was a writer with UFO Digest. But the Allied Command was the name my husband and I realized we were in space. So that's still a part of our history. And that's going to be in our books, and we've talked about it for years in my books and in history. So there's different names that we use for different things, and now we've got the Supreme Allied Command, but there's those on Earth too. So, starting with the Cold War sightings and moving forward, we're creating our own history, but there's television, movies, videos, stories, events, gatherings, groups, and it's going to only get bigger and bigger. So we'll have those on the planet and off the planet historically. So everybody's going to be archiving out there, not just our group. It's just who wants to get together and form a more formal community to be recognized as a trade association. We recognize this person as a journalist, this person does good research, this person has good archives, because everybody's going to be able to do something, but we can't all do the same job, Ken. So there go. I liked your idea of chain of command. Does that make sense, like you do at NASA or any other group? But getting people to work together, now that's a people person thing.
That is the hardest thing to do, is to get people to work together, and that's one of the main things that we're trying to do here, that I see. One of the things you pointed out I wanted to touch on, that was the government letting us continue. We already have, and you've even brought it up, TJ, that we've been monitored, and the governments are allowing us to continue the direction the way we're going. Because let's face it, Big Brother really is out there, but we're doing our best. And so long as we still have, free access to the radio and communication to people, and so long as I think we're headed in the right direction, that we're going to be allowed to continue. Let's hope that, and in reality, if we get shut down, maybe our friends, ETs, will be able to come in and give us another way to communicate. So, anyway, I was glad to hear that. Hey, Ahmad, do you want to jump in on that one?
Ahmad?
You got to push the button. There you go. I'm going to put it on mute.
I want to address something that TJ mentioned about pixels. I'm a graphic artist. I play in what's called Paint Shop Pro. And now there's plenty of programs out there, and most of them are called Photoshop. But mine's a little different. I can actually create stuff and add it into photographs. And over the years, I've come across quite a few of what can only be called fakes. Now, it's not as many as what you would think there is. But when you carry it into a Photoshop or a paint shop, and you can drop it down to the pixel level, you can see where sometimes these people who think they're smarter than they actually are will use pixel different images and try and blend them together to make them appear as though they're the same image. And when you can get down to that level, you can see the difference. And so what you see on Facebook a lot of times ain't necessarily a real UFO photograph or a UFO video. Now, without a normal person would know the difference, but a regular, somebody who's been into graphic arts and wants to take the time to go look at it, they can see the difference. So we do have to be careful with what we consider an actual sighting if it hasn't been vetted. That's what Bruce Maccabee done for years. He vetted all these UFO videos, and the ones that he could not say were fakes, more than likely they are real. So we do have to watch that.
That was one of the biggest concerns, I think, that NASA, the government, and some of the others were concerned about, because the archive that I kept was right down to the actual photo numbers and identification on each one of them, because I came off the first printings of the negatives that were brought back on each missions.
And believe it or not, Photoshop or Paint Shop was actually invented by NASA in order to hide this stuff.
That's a fact. Yep. So what you're saying, that's what we're dealing with, is people that think they've got something that's proof, but yet when you get it down to the pixel level and you can take a look and see, you can see where that has been doctored and messed with, and that's
you can actually see cut lines and stuff like that, and they think somebody handed them a true video, and it's really not. I mean, to their mind it is, and they believe it's true. So they put it out there, but we just have to be careful with it. That's all.
Yeah, people jump to the conclusion, and they hear a story, and they don't do what TJ just did while we were talking. I can tell she went and did some quick research and pulled up the right names and the right location, the right time. Unless she has it all right up the front of her memory, but thanks to that auto accident I was in a year and a half ago, my frontal lobe makes it a little difficult sometimes to keep the flow going. But you're doing great, TJ. Appreciate that. So anyway, now any other suggestions along this line where we're headed here on Janet?
Well, I wanted to make a comment. I work with my husband, Dr. Sasha Lessin. We've been doing different therapies, different psychotechnologies for the past. I guess we're together going on 24 years. It just blows my mind. It's like, oh my God, that long. And he's been doing this. He's turning 79 on July 9th. Happy birthday to Sasha. And well, he's been doing psychology since the 60s. So anyway, it's interesting to see the lies that people tell. We don't know if it's conscious or subconscious or implanted into their brains. But the story, if you look at all the stories, the truth, the lies, and the stories that they want out there, then you get a bigger picture of what emerges. It's like the group gestalt, the group story, and what are we saying? So even looking at the lies tells you the story about the truth. What are they hiding? What note they want out there? What are they leaking? So we've got stories within stories, layers and layers, because you're dealing with the subconscious, the superconscious, the conscious mind, the program, the projection, the reflection, the what does it call? Transference. When you react to somebody in some other, they're in the apparent other form. They're not you, right? There's you and not you. What you react to is the transference, and it's actually a part of you that you reject. So I see in the UFO field there's a lot of debate about what's real, what's not real, what's true, what's not true. I look at it all and I go, what is the story, the human story that emerges from all the stories, and what does that tell us about ourselves, and where are we going? And so when you use psychology, you do a group, and you do the group gestalt, and you're done doing a week-long seminar together, there is a story from everybody who gathered for that meeting that emerges, and then you can look at that. Like, here's our group story. And when you do a conference, there's usually a group story that emerges. And when you have a planet, there's a group story that's emerging. And we get to look at it and define ourselves and ask ourselves, what do we want to be? How do we want to what's our legacy? You know, each president that leaves office says, I want my legacy, and maintain my legacy.